So, you want to be an it girl? All right, guys, welcome back to Confessions of a Wannabe It Girl. If you're new here, this podcast is all about debunking that it girl life. And by that, I mean that girl life, having everything together, Instagram aesthetic, blah, 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 and how it's actually also all bullshit and how we should all just be doing our own thing. We cover many different things on this podcast, but today I'm very excited to talk about how to be more productive and create more free time. So it's just me, Mario. JK, I'm just kidding. I just really wanted to hear myself say that in the mic. It's me, Mario. Just kidding. It's just me. And so why? Okay. It's just me this episode talking about how to be a little bit more productive in our week and create so we can have more free time. This whole past year for me has been a high theme of stress less and accomplish more, and work smarter, not harder. So I've always been a kind of organized person. So like planning and planners and time calculating, whatever, has come kind of natural to me. But I do feel like a thing I didn't do in the past was really allow myself to have free time and often be super stressed in like a condensed amount of time. And I've kind of learned to like space those things out so that they get done with higher quality. So I wanted to share some ways I kind of feel like we could maybe make some shifts. So just to preface this episode so everyone's clear, I'm type A, like ish, with the B personality. And if you don't know what that means, I am very planner orientated. I love a planner. I love everything to be time scheduled and chunked out. So I know exactly what's happening. I'm very organized. That makes me type A. However, my brain itself is actually probably like B personality, which is a little bit more like, oh, when I feel really motivated to do this, I'll do this. Like, when I feel called to do this thing, I'll be called to do this thing and I'll do it. So I have like a weird mix of type A structure and B personality.
Do you like to be busy like all the time, or?
I'm working on that.
You do or don't?
I do like to be busy all the time. Okay. But like I've realized when I've created more free time for myself that like, why was I so busy all the time? Like I had all the time. I just made myself like anxious and stressed with over planning like things and taking too much on and whatever. That's a whole nother podcast. But like, yeah, I do like to be busy, but like literally I do feel more drawn to do things when I feel the natural impulse. So like, if you're confused about this, it's okay. So for instance, my day may look like at 9 o'clock, I'll work out. At 10 o'clock, I'll do, XYZ meeting for work. At 11, I'll do whatever, and then whatever. Like, I like to chunk things out by time. However, my personality might not naturally be that, like, rigid. It might be like, oh, at this time I'll meditate, and at that time I'll work out. So I have a weird mix of the two. So that's just like a preface to be aware of. If you're like super type A and you're super type B, if you're the extremes, might not like fall the best on you. But that being said, okay. So how to achieve things with lower stress and give yourself more free time. The biggest thing I have learned is to spread things out. I think we try to accomplish, and I'm speaking from personal experience when I say we'll get an assignment. Let's say it's a work assignment, whatever it is, and you get it and you instantly try to do the whole thing as fast as you freaking could and whatever. Or you try to get it, that's all you're going to do for the next 3 days so that it's done. And it seems like that. It feels like it's taken up a whole chunk of your life. Instead of being like, getting the work assignment and being like, okay, well, this is accomplishable from it in X amount of time. And this is accomplishable from this project at X amount of time. And then really spacing it out till the due date. Let's say you get it on a Monday. Let's say it's due on Thursday. And just being like, okay, if I can contribute 2 hours 2 hours to get this first part done of the project, and then 2 more hours to get this part done of the project. And I need to have those 2 parts done before I can spend the 1 hour doing the last part of the project. You've now broken them down into small, accomplishable chunks, and you can spread those out between the time period of when it's due. And even that's true for hours too. You don't have to like sit there and like bang through it in a consistent chunk. You can space out the chunks of time it takes to complete it. So for me, what that looks like is I do what's called like my brain scramble on like Sunday, Monday, or even the week prior. And I just write all the things I feel need to get done that week. And, you know, there's certain days that are just like completely X'd out because I have work. So it's like, okay, so now I know I won't have a Tuesday. So I have Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get the things on my list done, or like, you know, whatever. Or I know I have meetings this day, or I have podcast recording that day. So those days don't count. So now I can look at that list and spread out all the stuff between the different days I do have available to get them done. So
do you ever get tempted to be like, ooh, if I bust ass so I can knock it all the first day, and then I have 3 full days of just doing whatever the hell I want?
I don't have that.
And you should.
I don't have that.
And that's
I don't have that like at all. I will not do it because then I'll see the 3 free days. I'll do it out of anxiety of just like, oh, I'm never going to get it all done. And the quality of work goes down.
There's never such thing as a free day anyway. Something will fill it.
Well, that's not true. We're going to talk about that.
Well,
we're going to talk about that. There is such thing as a free day. And like you can, that's the thing too. I made a huge shift in 2021. Yes. 2022. Fuck. The years are a blur. This year, when I started this 2022. Fuck. That's so embarrassing, but it's so relatable. 2022, I made a huge shift to a digital planner. I'd always used pencil paper planner. Yes, I'm like a basic bitch who like still wants to live her middle school dreams. But I made a change to a digital planner. Google Calendar is fucking ugly. I don't care who you are that thinks that like that works, whatever. And it probably is best if you have like an office job and you need to schedule things out, whatever. However, I made a switch to a digital planner. I bought it on Etsy. I downloaded it into an app called GoodNotes, and it syncs to, you don't even need an iPad to have it. I did get an iPad to do it, and I like that because you can have the stylus, but it will sync to your phone. It will sync to your computer. It will sync to your iPad. So now you have the book style planner with like the writability and whatever that you would have in a normal like book, what's that called? Real paper planner. Yeah. But it's just digital now. So it's like you can flip through pages and whatnot on just in this app. So that was a huge shift I did. So I made a stencil in there. It has the brain scramble to-do list, and I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I kind of like take everything on that list from the brain scramble and I spread it out throughout the week, and I will then go through and color coordinate everything. So like podcast is pink, acting is red, work is orange, and then I can see which days are too full of one thing so that I don't like burn out on that thing. And sometimes, like for instance, today I'm recording 4 podcast episodes. It's a podcast fucking day. There was nothing else, and that's gonna happen sometimes. It had to be. It's what needed to be, but I can go back and then see like my Monday through Friday and like rework things. And it's like, okay, well now if that's going to happen this day, this can happen this day. So you just have to spread them out, but you can't get married to it. And also I think by spreading things out, you're still going to end up putting way more work Monday through Wednesday or Thursday, or that's what I'd recommend. And then when you burn out and you start to be like, if I do this at this point, is it going to be good quality work? And if the answer is no, and there's not a work deadline or like an immediate deadline on it, can you bump it to the next day and move something over? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, okay. I do. I was just thinking about it.
What?
Just, I don't know, it's the nature of like things popping up and stuff. But yeah, if you have the flexibility of doing that, because sometimes if you're in the middle of something, you're like, fuck, dude, like this week, it just make things a lot easier if I just fucking finish this thing, you know, like spit it out. That way.
That's a B personality. But that's good. And that's why we should leave some flex room. I always think you should put a little less in than you think you can accomplish a day.
You should.
Right.
Yes.
So let's talk about free time and like extra space now, seeing we kind of like naturally went there. So for me, I have a short attention span. It's about 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm like a fucking goldfish, I know. So I can only have like 3 or 4 things like back to back that will take about 45 minutes. If I do more than that, I'm gonna like, so like I need a quick something like 15-minute task in the middle of there. Like I have to schedule my doctor's appointment. Like I need to break it up with that. So I'll like put that in between the two so it doesn't feel like 2 45-minute chunks like next to each other multiple times. Like I'll fill in little tasks or like, okay, grocery store run if I have that day like that, I can go run to the whatever. So you have to leave extra space, especially if you're in the entertainment industry, because what happens? You get auditions and millions of them, right? But things do happen, you know, blah, 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 gets in a car accident or whatever. And, you know, life happens. Or like, you know, you forgot the bill to, because I cannot believe some people still only take checks. But there are like some crazy rent places that will only fucking take a check and you forgot to take the check, whatever. So we're going to account for that. So what I do is I leave a purple line on the to-do list. And the purple line is just like the whoops of the day. Right. Like there's just an extra space and like I can't put anything on there. It's just like, or maybe an assignment took longer than you expected. Maybe
it's like an overflow.
It's an overflow.
Okay.
So put the purple line, for me it's purple. For you maybe like black it out and it's just like nothing can go there because I already have whatever. And you're going to also have to pick a certain number. For me, I can have a large number. I can get like 12 tasks done a day. But like that's me. And maybe you only get 6. And some days I only get 6. Some days I get 3. Let's be fucking honest.
Right.
But like so for me though, if I really think I can get 12, why the fuck would I have 15 lines on the paper? Like, because you're just gonna fill it up. Just leave that 15, like let that be 15, and like maybe you're gonna have a fucking crazy day and that's great, but like stop yourself a little bit short. So then
12. Leave
it at 12. And then you know what? Some days I will get things done and I'll start the thing from the next day because I'm like, I'm still going. That's where the B personality of this type A format really fits in. Sometimes you do have to just go with the flow. Sometimes I'll switch things on the day because I'm just like on a fucking roll. And that's fine. The thing that's hard is when I'm in like the office or like have hardcore work days that like sometimes I'm doing shit on the side I like shouldn't be doing because randomly I'll end up with like 2 hours that I'm not needed even though I'm like in the office. Like you have to work to be audible. So like make structure without structure. Okay. Another way that we're going to create loose structure with like audibleness is like, what do you want the structure of your day to be? So like we're gonna go all the way to like, to me, the next day starts when you go to bed. For me, I go to bed really late. I stay up till 1, 2, it's really scary when I do it. 2:30 is about the max. I'll stay up pretty late. So why on earth would I get on at 5 a.m.? Horrible idea for me, right? I can't, that's just not gonna work for me. So I know that like, from like 11:30, because I kind of like to work more in the night, whatnot. 11:30 to like 2:30 is like my relax time. And then I sleep until about 8 or 9, depending on like how early I feel like I got to bed. And then I instantly do something. And for me, it's been working out. Every day I like wake up and that instant thing, the first thing I do most days, not all days, most days is work out. For you, it might be answer your emails. It might be take the dog out. Just like have a light, consistent thing of the first thing you do.
Get some momentum going.
Get some momentum going. Yes.
Momentum's fucking huge.
Right. And then like if there's like tradition, you know, you get a lunch break at blank time. You get off work at blank time. Create, especially for those of us who are working at home, create the like 3 chunks of time that most days, like 85% of the days you can commit to. It's not, this is where we're going to be audible again. So let's say you wake up, you do your chunk 1 thing, and then around 1:30 you do your chunk 2 thingy, and then at 6 or 7, you do your chunk 3 thing. And those are the things you commit to for yourself. It might be working out. It might be emails at this time. It might be, maybe you make content. Maybe you make content those times of days. Whatever. You just commit yourself for those 3 times. But shit happens, and sometimes you just gotta let them go. For instance, even though I really like working out first thing in the morning, sometimes I wanna take my favorite Pilates class, whatever. So I just won't that day. Like, I just won't. But like, for 90% of the time, I default to this structure. But you don't have to. But like, I do think that having like the somewhat repetitiveness, especially if you're working from home more, having a light structure in your day will help you to like continue having just some like reliability of like you're getting everything done every day, or you're making steps. Like, even for me with fitness, like I've been like, oh, well, I'm doing it every day. I see that consistency. I'm seeing that chunk. Even if like 2 or 3 days a week, I don't get to it, I still know I carved out the time to do it. And like, you know, I mean, you don't have to have a side hustle, but everybody's got a side hustle. Everybody's got a new skill they want to learn. So like, fill in those 3 structure times in your day. And you know what? Put a limit on it. Like, you don't need to do it more than like 1.5 hours a day, or 45 minutes, because I have a short attention span. Do 45 minutes of it just a day, because 45 minutes, you know, 5 days a week for a whole year is a lot more than that one panic hour you cared about it and like it consumed your whole day. You were consistent with a full year of doing it those many times a day. And maybe some days you missed and some days you didn't do it, you know, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we've calculated so much more time working on that thing by only doing it sometimes a day in that structured chunk. Does that make sense?
I'm a little confused. So what you're saying, like the first chunk, like
it doesn't have to be the first chunk.
But any chunk. So just do your chunk.
All right, yeah. Let's give an example.
Okay.
For me, my first this is an example, but this one's true. First chunk is working out. Okay. My second chunk would be learning Spanish, and my third chunk would be creating content, whatever. So then every day I instantly wake up and I do a workout. Then every day at 2:00, I will take 45 minutes to work on learning Spanish. And then every day at 6:00, whatever, I'll make Instagram content, whatever. And I have this light structure to default to every day. And so things happen, you won't always get to it, whatever. But you know, on a day where I kind of don't know what to do with myself, or like I do have a lot of work, fuck it. Or some days I don't have work at all. I know exactly what to do with my time, which is wake up and work out, do...
It's like a skeleton.
It's a skeleton. It's an outline. It's a blueprint that you can like fuck or take.
Right.
Like, but like you've put your priorities and goals into those.
I bet a lot of us have that naturally already.
You think?
I think we do, but we're not maybe aware of it, and since we're not aware of it, it's not very effective or efficient.
I would never, because like the whole like being a lot more home for me thing, like I would never get to the things.
Well, what I mean is like we're creatures of habit, so we have some habits probably already. So when you have a lighter day,
right,
you default to the same thing that you would have defaulted to a month ago when you had a lighter day. So it's kind of this. Basically what you're saying is kind of creating new habits.
Right. If you want to do something,
and you got to be mindful of it before. Yeah.
Right. Like if you don't want to do something with your extra free time, but if there's a goal you're working to and you need to fit it into your daily life that you're already having, like for instance, like I think a lot of people in LA, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people have multiple jobs, multiple passions, whatever. So it's like, you know, Monday or at 9 a.m., you know, that's the time you work on your editing skill. And then you know you're working at it every single time that time comes around. Because so at the end of the year, when everybody's always like, it's time to set new resolutions. I love resolutions and I hate them. We like have like a really messy relationship. But that you don't feel like you did not do them, because you know you did most of the time. Even if it wasn't perfect, you did a lot more than just writing it on a goal and throwing it away. So it's like how to use your time more effectively is just to create those smaller chunks of time to work towards goals, and like stick to your flow. I mean, fuck it sometimes, as I've said for like probably the third time. Fuck it sometimes, it's not going to work out. It's just not going to happen. You have to skip today.
Right.
But 8 or 9 times out of 10, you will get to it. So that is a way, I think, to be more productive with your time. I think being at home has also made me feel less motivated sometimes. Also, I'm like mid-20s, you know, that early like grind out of college is kind of like over. I feel like I'm tired a little bit. Some days you're just not as motivated, not to mention that I think COVID has made people like not be motivated some. But, you know, if you have to work with like a podcast on or the TV on or whatever, just to make sure you get it done, do it. I mean, like, I think people always be like, go buy yourself that Starbucks coffee. And I'm like, I don't think you need to like get yourself something, but like, have you picked yourself up and changed rooms? Have you tried sitting in a new area? Like, do the little extra thing to make you feel like
physical things matter a lot. Like I would always get in the try to like outthink myself, like, oh, I can be more motivated, blah blah blah. But like getting up and like moving, like doing physical shit, like that builds physical momentum, then that carries off into like mental and like emotional
go
momentum.
For a walk before, then sit back down. Like sometimes you just like have to take the second break.
Just move.
Right. Just move. Literally, if I got up and I moved my podcast chair to this corner, I feel like I'd have a really different perspective on things. Right. Like just because that's not
whether you do or don't doesn't matter.
You don't, you just move.
If you believe it, yeah.
Exactly. So I think like, and it goes back to like, maybe we need to go to a coffee shop or whatever, or blah, 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 or just sit outside, or just have you sat on the floor? Have you sat on your bed? Like, just move.
And it's so easy to be like, no, I don't need to do that. Like, I can just finish it here. But it's like, maybe you do. Maybe that there's like the little intangible things you can't tell. You don't know it's specifically what it is, but like something about it just overall helps.
Right.
So it's like, are you doing a disservice being like proud of it? No, I don't need to go across the street to that park or whatever. It's like, why are you talking yourself out of it?
Right.
Maybe
you should you already just wasted a moment thinking about it. Just fucking go.
Then you're anxious about, do I do it? Do I not? No,
just fucking do it.
Right.
Like, who cares? Like, you just gotta move. You gotta like shake up your situation and like do different things. And it's bad, but I know a lot of people who work with the TV on, or, you know, work in the kitchen, I literally sit on the ground. It's not that hard, like, just to move yourself and make sure to be marking off the mini little goals like that you're hitting. So
celebrate the wins,
even if they're little. It's like, I got that paragraph done, I sent that email, whatever. Just like literally mark it off that you did it. I don't even erase my to-do list till the next Monday now, so I can see all the things I got. It's just like, and I'll literally even write like, call doctor's appointment, like, or schedule. That's like not a fucking goal of mine, but like I did it. It's like, woohoo, I did.
Right,
and
like we're all
tap.
Yeah, we're all like the little kid looking for the parent.
Yeah, so I'm going to give myself the gold sticker. I fucking did it.
There you go.
Yeah, give yourself the gold sticker of that you got something. And lastly, we talked a little bit about being audible, but I want to talk about scheduling in free time. So I think often we talk ourselves out of taking breaks, or like, you know, having like an opposite day, which was something I totally stole from Amy Park when she was on the podcast. Sometimes you have to like have opposite moments, opposite days, and not everybody's going to be able to do it all the time. I totally recognize that I am like in a very unique position where like I get to have a lot of opposite days if I want to, but I try not to take them like all the time. But sometimes you just have to take the day off, and you might feel like it and whatever, or like you're just gonna do the bare minimum because you have to mentally reset your battery, which is something I talk about all the time. Because maybe like you feel like your quality of work is off. Maybe your boss did say your quality of work is off, or you're just not proud of the work you're putting off. It's like, okay, why don't you just take the day or take the time you can, whatever it may be, to just be 100% off and do whatever you feel pulled to. To me, it's usually cleaning, which is so fucking stupid, but I just do it. And then when I go back to the things the next hour, the next day, I'm like, oh, it's so much better than if I did it shitty and just pushed myself through it so I could get that gold sticker. Like, my gold sticker can wait till the next day. Another thing I've tried doing, I have not stuck to it at all, is I try to schedule in free days or like random days where they're usually not free. It's not like I just sit on my couch and like watch TV. It's like I just do whatever I want that day, and whatever I don't, I just do the next day. I have not stuck to it, but it is a good idea to just like once a month look at your schedule, look at your calendar, look at your life and be like, oh wow, I'm really, really busy. Like all these things, I have all these plans with friends. Maybe it's just a Saturday. Maybe just a Saturday you just like need to make sure you have completely on your own, or your time off is like, I'm doing a lot of work this month, so I need to make sure to see my friends on these 2 holes I have. That's another thing I kind of forgot to mention earlier, I meant to, is I do look at my life by month. Like I literally love the home calendar page, like that has the whole month, and I like write everything I have in each day, so I can kind of see like this week's gonna be really busy. So like I should probably not go out the weekend before. I've never fucking stuck to that. But like that's the idea. Or it's like, okay, this work week's gonna be really busy and I'm gonna have really heavy work. So I have to see my friends this weekend because the next week is really heavy work again. And if I go 2 weeks without seeing my friends, then fuck, whatever. But like that's what I'm saying is like if you look at the breadth of your month, maybe you should be a little more cautious of when you need to take some free time for yourself. And it can be a weekend, it can be the evening, whatever. It's just like, know the days maybe that it's gonna be just a no, or just my main priority is to do this. So that's kind of my thumb.
So that's a free day then. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Free time. I don't really know if it's always a free day.
But what I was getting at is that free day, like if you have a day with nothing, shit will always come.
Shit will always come.
So you're saying be firm with it, be like, no, like I'm not today.
I mean, I think that would be great.
Well, yeah, but obviously you do gotta be flexible.
I never stick to it, but I do build it in. Like I build it in. I like consciously do think about the fact that like I shouldn't schedule podcast episodes like 8 days a month, and I try to do them all more together and like leave a day for shit to have piled up and me deal with it that day. Or maybe I was really good that whole month and I get to go to the Container Store and walk around because I fucking feel like it. I haven't done that in a really long time. I wish I had though.
It does sound fun.
Right. Like I just love looking at organized things when you have free time. But like sometimes that free day is just me catching up on shit I didn't get to, or seeing my parents, or like whatever it may be, So if you build, that it goes back to the whole schedule you're saying about the purple line, just like building in the extra time. Because I mean, it sounds crazy because I feel like this whole episode I've been like schedule in the week, schedule your to-dos, schedule in your month view. It's like zooming out on the phone. It's like we're going like like just zoom out all the way of like the picture and see where you can build in the extra time and see where you can build in the time to accomplish the goals you want to get. You have the time, and certain things might, I don't want to say suffer, but like sometimes like if you're in a shitty 9-to-5 that you hate and it's more important for you to get the goals for that 45 minutes of your structured time, like maybe it's every day after work for 45 minutes, you just want to work out, like you can get to it. Like you can. You just have to make the commitment. And if you don't get to it every single day, you don't get a 10 out of 10 on that score, a 5 out of 10 is still better than nothing out of 10. So like if you make it to the gym 1 day a week in that third structured shit, then I'm happy for you because you did it more than you wouldn't. So it's just building in systems for yourself.
System. I mean, you hear the story about like, even if let's say that 45 minutes at the gym doesn't happen, but you got 5 minutes. It's like, dare you just go to the gym for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Just to keep the momentum of that
I think
system?
you should.
Maybe, yeah.
I think you should.
Right.
Like even like there's days where I've, set a task to do in a certain time and like I won't really do it too. like, fuck it. I did do it somewhat, but then fuck it.
Right.
Because it takes 30 days to build a habit.
Right. And it basically, it's kind of betting on yourself in the long run. Just knowing that, like, hey, yeah, it's a waste of time technically to go to the gym for 5 minutes, but maybe in the long run, it's in the long run.
Bigger picture. Everything I've had to focus myself so hard. I'm so fucking impatient. I get so frustrated all the fucking time. I'm super impatient. I'm just super short attention span, but everything is long game. Everything is long game. Even if you're 85, you're still fucking long game.
Right.
You just have to think of it that way. And yes, nothing is, and we're so trained from the fucking phone to think everything is instant. Everything is instant, and nothing really is. An overnight success is never an overnight success. It's 20 years of hard work and hustle and being broke and being rich and then whatever. It's never that easy. So if you build in these little structures along the way and these little things you want to hit sprinkled into your life, and leave some extra time, I really do think you guys can do it. And I also hardcore mean that for myself. Because I've actually really stuck to this recently. I do not keep my free day ever. I should, but I don't. But it has really helped me to feel productive at my end of the days and seeing the success I have had that are little and big, and pat myself on the back and get on to the next, because it's not that big of a win till it is. So guys, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.